Mother's Day is a special time of year when we honor all mothers. It's a day to support single moms, encourage adoptive moms, be grateful for foster moms, comfort moms who have lost a child, and pray for future moms. Not all mothers travel the same road, but they are each loved by God. Let me ask you, when was the last time you felt truly cared for or nurtured? Perhaps you remember hearing your mother's voice on the phone during a difficult day or caring for you when you were sick. Or perhaps it was in those small gestures like a favorite meal being prepared, a listening ear, or simply packing you an extra sweater for your trip because it may get cold. Whether your biological mother was there for you or you had someone else step into that role, let's take a moment to celebrate the mothers and the mother figures in our lives and reflect on the importance of nurture from Jesus' perspective. From the moment we're born, we experience two competing forces pulling at us. The first is our need for connection, beginning with that primal bond between mother and child. The second is our culture's persistent message that true maturity means complete self-reliance. We're told to stand on your own 2 feet, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We celebrate independence as the ultimate achievement. Yet research tells us a different story. Studies consistently show that our earliest nurturing relationships literally shape our brain development. Children who receive consistent nurturing care develop stronger emotional regulation, greater resilience, and better stress responses. In Jesus' time, societal roles were strictly defined, with nurturing confined to the home in the early stages of development. Men pursued status through work. Family obligations were important, but showing vulnerability and care, particularly for men, wasn't culturally encouraged, which is still true today in many cultures around the world. Yet Jesus repeatedly challenged these norms. He welcomed children with the disciples when they tried to send the children away. He described himself as a mother hen gathering his chicks in the Old Testament, and perhaps most powerfully, in his final moments of excruciating pain on the cross, a moment when we might expect him to focus solely on his mission, Jesus took time to ensure his mother would be cared for. In John chapter 19, we witness an extraordinary scene. Despite his agony, Jesus looks down from the cross and sees his mother standing nearby with the disciple he loved. Most believe this to be John. And in a culture where widows without sons faced destitution, Jesus creates a new family. Verses 26 and 27 says, "When Jesus saw his mother standing there beside the disciple he loved, he said to her, 'Dear woman, here is your son.' And he said to this disciple, 'Here is your mother.' And from then on, his disciple took her into his home." This seemingly small act carried profound significance. Like all of us, Jesus entered this world as a vulnerable human baby, completely dependent on nurturing care. And the first person to provide that care for him was his mother, Mary. To fully appreciate Jesus' actions towards his mother at the cross, we need to understand their relationship journey. a journey that began with a divine announcement but unfolded through very ordinary human experiences of nurture and growth. When the angel Gabriel appeared to Mary, she received the news of her divine pregnancy with both confusion and courage. Luke chapter 1 verse 38 records her response. Mary responded, "I am the Lord's servant. May everything you have said about me come true." And then the angel left her. This young woman, likely just a teenager, said yes to a calling that would bring both blessing and profound suffering in her life. From that moment, Mary began a journey of nurturing the Son of God. Mary provided the physical nourishment Jesus needed to grow in her womb. She endured the discomfort of traveling to Bethlehem while she was very pregnant. She gave birth in humble circumstances and placed her newborn in a feeding trough. She protected him during the flight to Egypt when Herod sought to kill him. Day after day, year after year, she fed him, clothed him, taught him to speak, to pray, and to observe Jewish customs. Then, as Jesus began his public ministry, his relationship with his mother Mary entered a new phase. At the wedding in Cana, recorded in John chapter 2, we see an interaction that initially seems puzzling. When the wine ran out, Mary tells Jesus about the problem. His response was, "Dear woman, that's not our problem," Jesus replied. "My time has not yet come." John chapter 2 verse 4. Sounds so cold and distant to our modern ears. Yet Mary's response shows complete confidence in him. The next verse says, "But his mother told the servants, 'Do whatever he tells you.'" John chapter 2 verse 5. This exchange reveals a mother who understood that her son's mission extended beyond their family relationship. She respected his calling, and Jesus, while establishing boundaries, still honored her by performing his very first recorded miracle at her request. As Jesus' ministry began to grow, and like most family relationships today, his family also had moments of tension as well. For example, Mark chapter 3 records an incident where Jesus' mother and brothers come to remove him from a situation, thinking that he's out of his mind. Due to the crowds and just the controversy that surrounded Jesus. When Jesus was told that his mother and brothers were outside looking for him, Jesus responded, "Who is my mother? Who are my brothers?" Then he looked at those around him and said, "Look, these are my mother and brothers. Anyone who does God's will is my brother and sister and mother." Mark chapter 3, verses 33 to 35. Now, this wasn't a rejection of his biological family by any means, but an expansion of the concept of family to include all who follow God. Jesus was establishing that the kingdom of God creates new family bonds that transcend simple biological relationships. Despite these moments of tension, the bond between Jesus and his mother remained very strong. We know Mary followed Jesus all the way to Jerusalem, and this brings us to the crucifixion scene that we read earlier in John chapter 19, verses 25 to 27. Let's read it again. It says, "Standing near the cross were Jesus' mother and his mother's sister, Mary and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother standing there beside the disciple he loved, he said to her, 'Dear woman, here is your son.' And he said to this disciple, 'Here is your mother.' And from then on, this disciple took her into his home." Consider the significance of this moment. Jesus is experiencing excruciating physical pain. The weight of the world's sin is upon him. He is completing the mission he was sent to accomplish. Yet in this pivotal moment, he takes time to ensure his mother will be cared for after his death. In first century Jewish culture, a widow without sons faced severe economic hardship and social marginalization. By entrusting Mary to John's care, Jesus was addressing her practical needs. But he was doing something even more profound. He was creating a new family bond. Woman, here is your son. Here is your mother. A bond not based on blood, but on love and a shared commitment to Jesus. What makes this even more remarkable is that Jesus had brothers who, in that culture, should have taken responsibility for their mother. Yet at this point, his brothers did not believe in him, that he was the Messiah, the Son of God. It says in John chapter 7, verse 5, "For even his brothers didn't believe in him." Jesus entrusted his mother to the disciple whom he loved, creating a new family. This moment carries theological significance too. The God who created family relationships honors them even from the cross. The Savior who came to transform the world still cares about the needs of individuals. If we just zoom out to look at the broader biblical picture, we find that nurturing love is not just a human necessity, but a divine characteristic. Listen to a few examples of how God is described throughout the Bible. In Isaiah chapter 66, verse 13, God says, "As a mother comforts her child, so will I comfort you." In Isaiah chapter 49, verse 15, we read, "Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has borne? Though she may forget, I will not forget you." Jesus himself used maternal imagery when he cried over Jerusalem. "How often I have longed to gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were not willing." These images reveal that nurturing love reflects God's character. When we nurture and care for others, whether as mothers, fathers, teachers, mentors, or friends, we express something fundamentally divine. Jesus, the image of God, was both caring and at the same time revolutionary. Let's take a deeper look at examples of how he was revolutionary. Number one, Jesus challenged the idea that independence is the highest virtue. Even while Jesus was completing his mission of saving the human race, he acknowledged his human connection to the woman who had nurtured him. Our culture often thinks that maturity means you don't need to rely on anyone else. We celebrate those who need no one, but Jesus, at the most pivotal moment in history, demonstrated the strength of honoring relationships. Despite the sheer significance of his sacrifice, he paused to ensure his mother's well-being. This teaches us that acknowledging our need for others doesn't reveal weakness. It displays emotional maturity. True confidence isn't found in isolation, but in the humble recognition that we need one another. Number two, Jesus challenged the false dichotomy between public work and nurturing work. By attending to his mother's needs from the cross, Jesus placed family care alongside his mission, not beneath it. This moment breaks down the artificial separation we often try to create between significant work and ordinary care for others. Many working parents feel torn between career advancement and caring for their family, as though they must choose one at the expense of the other. And yet Jesus, accomplishing the most important work in history, while at the same time fulfilled his family obligations, did both at the same time. He refused to compartmentalize, showing that nurturing relationships aren't a distraction from our purpose, but can be central to it. For Jesus, caring for his mother wasn't separate from his spiritual mission. It was integrated with it. The early church understood this integration. In Acts, for example, we see believers sharing possessions, caring for widows, and creating community where everyone's needs were met. This holistic approach confronts our tendency to separate spiritual life from family life. Many people struggle with this division, feeling like spiritually, it's like when they pray, that's spiritual, or when they go to church, that's spiritual. But somehow we disconnect with God when we change diapers or care for aging parents. Jesus' example erases this false boundary. His attention to his mother's care wasn't a distraction from his spiritual purpose, but a fulfillment of it. Paul reinforced this when he wrote a serious warning against anyone who neglected to provide for their relatives. He says, "But those who won't care for their relatives, especially those in their own household, have denied the true faith. Such people," he says, "are worse than unbelievers." 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. This vision of faith expressed through nurturing relationships stands in stark contrast to individualistic spirituality that focuses solely on my personal faith. Jesus calls us to a faith that honors our need for one another and recognizes the sacred value of nurturing love that creates family bonds, both biological and spiritual. As we reflect on Jesus' care for his mother, we discover that there's more to life than just self-sufficiency. There's a beautiful, challenging, and sacred call to honor the nurturing relationships that have shaped us and to extend that nurturing love to others.
Who is Jesus of Nazareth? Was he truly God, as Christians say he is? And why did Jesus come to earth to die? And how does his death offer us salvation? What happens when I die? Is there really a heaven or hell? These questions and others we answer on our online Bible study platform at hopestudy.ca. There, you will find answers to these and other life-changing questions. If you have any questions, please email us at hopestudy@hopetv.ca. God bless you. See you there.
Jesus' example of honoring his mother, even from the cross, offers guidance for our own lives. And so let's explore just 3 practical ways we can apply this teaching. Number 1, honor those who have nurtured us. Mother's Day naturally turns our thoughts to our mothers, but nurturing comes in many forms. Take a moment to reflect. Who has provided nurturing love in your life? Perhaps it was your biological mother, a grandmother, an aunt, a teacher, a mentor, a friend who believed in you when you couldn't believe in yourself. And so how can you honor these people? For some, this might mean a phone call, maybe a text message, or just spending quality time with them. For others with more complicated relationships, it might mean taking just one step towards healing and forgiveness. As a note, not all mother-child relationships are healthy. Some of you may have experienced neglect, abuse, or abandonment from those who should have nurtured you. If this is your story, please know that Jesus sees your pain. He knows your journey. His example doesn't demand pretending everything is okay when it isn't. And maybe for you, it means finding care from your other relationships and offering to others what you yourself never experienced. Number 2, extend love beyond traditional boundaries. How might God be calling you to nurture those who aren't part of your biological family? Perhaps through mentoring, teaching, fostering? What would it look like to create nurturing spaces in your workplace, your church, your community? Small acts of remembering names, Celebrating achievements or being attuned to others' needs can transform environments. Who in your community lacks that nurturing support? Single parents, the elderly, new immigrants, college students far from home, all may need the kind of nurturing love that creates belonging. Number 3, find balance between independence and interdependence. Our culture's emphasis on self-sufficiency often creates a false dichotomy, either complete independence or helpless dependence. Jesus models a healthier third way, interdependence. Whether we're giving or receiving, both are valued. Where might your desire for self-sufficiency be blocking connection? Many of us find it easier to give help rather than receive it, yet allowing others to care for us creates opportunities for them to exercise their gifts. How can you practice healthy vulnerability? Small steps like asking for help, sharing struggles, or accepting support can strengthen those relationships. And so what practical steps could you do to help balance achievement with connection? Maybe scheduling regular family meals, or even something as simple as creating those tech-free zones. Pastor and author John Ortberg tells the story of asking his mentor, Dallas Willard, what he needed to do to stay spiritually healthy. He expected a list of disciplines: prayer, study, fasting. Instead, Willard told him, you must ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life. Hurry is the enemy of nurturing love, which requires unhurried presence. And so this week, I challenge you to take 3 specific actions. First, express gratitude to someone who has nurtured you. Be specific about how their care has shaped your life. Second, identify one person or group to whom you can extend nurturing love. This might be as simple as a meal or even a listening ear. Third, practice receiving care by sharing a genuine need with someone you trust. Allow them the blessing of nurturing you. As you implement these practices, remember Jesus' example. Even as he completed his mission, he honored the nurturing bond with his mother and created a new family of care. In so doing, he showed us that there's more to life than just self-sufficiency. There's the sacred call to give and receive nurturing love. I'd love to hear how these reflections impact your relationships. I invite you to connect with me on More to Life, on the different various social media channels. Share your journey. Ask questions. I'm here to support you.
Hope Channel Canada is more than a TV channel. It is a movement of hope, health, and salvation. Lives are being changed each day through our programs. You also can become an agent of hope in Canada. Whether through prayer, volunteering, or a donation, your actions create ripples of change. Just like threads woven into a tapestry, your small contribution helps to build something beautiful. All you need to do is to visit agentsofhope.ca or call 1-855-4-HOPE-TV to get involved. Thank you for your support.
In 2007, a 50-year-old woman named Livia Tembak entered a burning hospital in Indonesia. While others fled the flames, she rushed towards them into the neonatal intensive care unit. There, she gathered 3 premature infants into her arms and carried them to safety. When asked why did she risk her life, she simply said, "I'm a mother. I couldn't leave them." Livia wasn't the biological mother of those infants. She was a hospital worker who recognized that nurturing love extends beyond biological bonds. Her actions echo Jesus' actions on the cross, forming connections based not only on blood, but on love and shared humanity. Today, we've explored how Jesus, even in his final moments of suffering, honored the nurturing relationship with his mother. His example challenges our culture's elevation of independence and self-sufficiency as the highest virtues. We've discovered 3 transformative truths from Jesus' actions. First, we learned that nurturing relationships deserve honor. Jesus, while completing history's most important mission, still took time to ensure his mother would be cared for. This teaches us that nurturing work, whether done by mothers, fathers, teachers, mentors, or friends, carries profound value, not separate from our spiritual lives, but integrated with them. Second, we saw that nurturing extends beyond biological boundaries. By creating a new family bond between Mary and John, Jesus showed us that nurturing love can flow through relationships formed by choice and commitment, not just through blood. Third, we discovered that nurturing reflects God's character. Throughout Scripture, God is described with nurturing language. When we nurture others, we express something fundamentally divine. This year, on Mother's Day, we celebrate not just biological motherhood, but the nurturing love that God designed. Whether you're a mother, have been nurtured by a mother, or missed the mothering you deserved, Jesus' example speaks to you. For those who have nurtured children, biological, adopted, or spiritual, thank you. Your work may often feel invisible, but it shapes the future in ways no other work can. Jesus himself entered the world as a baby, dependent on nurturing care, showing that God values this important work. For those who have been well nurtured, today is an opportunity to express gratitude. And for those who have experienced the absence of nurturing, know that Jesus sees your pain and offers both healing and the opportunity to break cycles of nurturing others as you wish you would have been nurtured. In God's upside down kingdom at times, nurturing love is among the greatest contributions anyone can make. By honoring those who have nurtured us and extending that nurturing to others, we participate in God's transformative work in the world. And so today, let's celebrate nurturing love in all of its forms, recognizing that there's more to life than just standing alone. There's the beautiful interdependence of giving and receiving care, a reflection of the God who nurtures us all.